Welcome dear students, let us start our lesson 62 and topic is When Autumn Came part 3. So today we will be discussing the poem in detail. So this is the opening of this poem. This is the way when that autumn came to the trees. It stripped them down to the skin, left their ebony. Ebony means dark colored bones naked. It shook out their hearts, the yellow leaves, scattered them over the ground. Any wood could trample them. That means crush them out of shape, undisturbed by a single moan of protest, by a single cry of protest. So these are the opening lines of the poem. This is the way autumn came to the trees. That means the poet wants to tell us, Faiz Ahmad Faiz, he wants to tell us that when autumn came to the trees, how it destroyed them. First, it stripped them down to the skin. That because with the arrival of the autumn, the clothes, and here the clothes of the trees, they, as per the poet, they are the leaves, because they cover the skeleton, or they cover the structure, they cover the bone, they cover the branches, they cover the boughs of the trees. So the leaves, they act as clothes and hence protect the trees from the harsh climate, whether it's sun, harsh rays of sun, or whether it's rainy season, or whether it's cold. So it protects them just like clothes protect human beings, they protect the skin of the human beings. In the same manner, the green leaves or leaves, they also protect the skin of the trees. But with the arrival of the autumn, those leaves, they get shed off from the trees, because they are actually forced by the autumn to get shed off from the trees, and so their skin gets exposed. The skeleton, that means ebony bodies, gets naked. That is the structure of the trees, we can say the bark of the trees, that is their skin. The branches, they get completely exposed, so the trees become completely naked with the arrival of the autumn. It shook out their hearts, the yellow trees. First, what happens with the coming of the autumn? The poet tells us that first it turns the green leaves into yellow leaves, and then those yellow leaves, they become helpless, and ultimately they fall to the ground. So, and since leaves, they are the manufacturing units, food manufacturing units of the plants, they are very important for the survival of the plants, so they are referred to as the hearts of trees. So with when autumn came, it shook out the leaves, that means the supporting, life supporting system of the trees, scattered them over the ground, and then they lie over the ground, they get distributed, they lie on over the ground. Any wood could trample them out of shape. Any wood could trample those leaves out of shape. That means any wood can crush them, because when they become lifeless, then it's easy for anyone to crush them, to destroy them out of their shape, undisturbed by a single moan of protest, and they don't resist back, because its resistance comes when you are alive, when you are living. So since they become lifeless, that means they don't then resist back for their survival, they are destroyed by anyone, and without single moan of protest, and they don't even cry, utter a cry of protest that you are destroying us, but they bear it because they are lifeless. So with what, as per the poet Faiz Ahmad Faiz, what happens with the coming of the autumn? First, it makes trees completely naked, it left them to the extreme climate, it acts as an oppressor. And who an oppressor, who inflicts pain, who inflicts agony, who to the oppressed, and here the oppressed are the trees. And then it also makes them lifeless. First it stripes them to their skin, and then it makes them lifeless, because it actually destroys their life supporting system, that is the leaves, and so they become completely, we can say, lifeless, or we can say that way they become very weak, and then anybody is able to inflict pain upon them. This is how what an oppressor does to the oppressed. Birds that herald dreams were exiled from their song, each voice torn out of its throat. They dropped into the dust even before the hunter strung his bow. That herald the dreams, that means that they forecast or symbolize, and strung means to aim, took the aim on the bow, the hunter, on his arrow and bow. So the birds, with the coming of the autumn, the birds also are affected by it, because when spring comes they are full of joy and they sing songs. But when autumn comes, even with the coming of autumns, the birds also were forced from their songs. They were banned to sing their songs, to symbolize, to forecast something. Each voice torn out of its throat, because with the coming of the autumn, usually since trees get destroyed and birds usually build their nests, their homes on the trees, and so when trees get destroyed, or when trees are exposed to harsh climate, so the nests or the homes of these birds, they are also, we can say that way, destroyed. And even, in fact, what happens sometimes, their younglings in these nests, that means that is their future generation. When nests get destroyed, those younglings also, they die premature deaths. Or even sometimes when birds as an adults, when their homes get destroyed, they also die, we can say untimely death. They dropped into the dust, that here it means that they die even before the hunter stung his bow. That means they die. Here this hunter stung his bow, it refers to the angel of death. So even before, what is their due time to die, they die even before that. That means they die, they also die untimely death, or their younglings also die untimely death. And then they became gloomy and sad, because their homes are destroyed, their future, sometimes even some their mates are destroyed, or their younglings die, or their mates die. So they stop singing songs, as they start in the spring, but in the autumn they stop singing songs, they become gloomy, they become sad. So with the coming of the autumn, the birds also are affected in a negative way. This is the way when autumn came. So it even didn't spare the birds, they also became, we can say, sad. They are also, their lives also became miserable. So for birds also, autumn is an oppressor, and they are the oppressed ones, because autumn inflicts pain on them, it inflicts destruction on them. So autumn brings with it destruction to the trees and to the birds. Now, the poet Faiz Ahmed Faz, he prays to the god of May. God of May, we can say it May is a season. May is a month in the season of spring. And we know in spring everything comes to life. After dull, lifeless winter, everything comes again to life. So May can be considered as a season of resurrection, when everything comes to life again. So here the poet prays to the god of May, that means god of resurrection, which gives life to everything. Have mercy. Have mercy for these trees and for these birds which have been destroyed with autumn. Bless these withered bodies, bless these withered, interrogated bodies, bless these destroyed bodies with the passion of your resurrection, because you give life to everything, so give life to them also. Give life to these trees which have gone through oppression. Give life to these birds which have gone through oppression. Make their dead veins flow with blood again, because they seem to be dead, because they have been autumn has done everything as an oppressor to destroy them. So make, and their bodies now have become lifeless, make their dead veins flow with blood again, because blood in animals, we say, it's a life sustaining fluid. So when we say give life with the make the dead veins flow with blood again, that means to give life new life to the things. So he urges or he prays to the god of May to give life to these trees, to give life to the birds again. Give some tree the gift of green again. You just make a um, gift of green to just one tree, or to let one bird sing, and then it will become a hope, ray of hope for other trees. It will become a ray of hope for other birds, and so they will also try to stand up, and they will also try to fight back, and they will then also try their best to fight the oppression for their survival. So here he prays to the god that if even one tree or even if one bird that has been that has got oppressed under the autumn, who acts as an oppressor to them, so even if one tree or one bird again comes to life, that will act as a hope to all trees, that will act as a hope to all birds, and everything will again come to life. These interrogated or lifeless bodies will again come to life, and then they will fight for their survival, and when then nobody can inflict pain on them, nobody can destroy them, because they will have the willpower to fight back, they will have the willpower for their sustenance, they will have the willpower or resistance to stand up and emerge victorious against the tyranny, against the we can say force, or against the destruction. So in this poem, you have seen, since Faiz Ahmad Faiz, he was a revolutionary poet. So the concept of revolution, that we can say progressism, that is reflected in this poem as well, because he believed that nobody in the what is their philosophy, that nobody should be an oppressor and nobody should be oppressed. There should be an equality, and every should have, because everybody has the right to live a comfortable life. So this poem that way reflects his ideology in a very good way. So this is all about this poem, and in our next lesson we will discuss the literary devices and questions. And till then, have a nice time, have a great day.